what I think, yeah. Okay, hi everyone, thank you for coming today. This week we have Cathleen presenting on ASMR, so.
Okay, so first we'll go into just a quick clip in case you're not really, oops. Well, the premise of the video is just one of the biggest categories of ASMR, which is towel folding. And so this is just supposed to be like an example of like how people have different stimuluses in their videos. Like from off camera, there were other noises being made, and then also the on camera with the visual aid. Anyway, just get that. Okay, so what is ASMR? So it stands for Autosensory Meridian Response, and it's a sensory phenomenon where when someone hears a certain noise or watches a video of something, they'll get a tingling sensation, but it really varies based person to person, so they might get a different kind of reaction. But usually it starts like around their scalp, and it'll travel across their body, and they'll just kind of like feel either they could be relaxed by it or just feel like happy from it. But it really depends. So some people use it as a relaxant or like a sleep aid, so they'll listen to it like while they're just like at home. And there's three major ways that they categorize like the different triggers of it. So there's interpersonal, so that would be like watching a video where someone's getting a haircut and like they hear like the noise of like the scissors and like cutting the hair. Or it's like very crisp sounds. So things like tinfoil, like someone like tapping, paper folding, things like that, like very mundane activities but that have very distinctive sounds. And then there's one that's more like divisive in the ASMR community, which is eating, because some people really do enjoy the sounds of like the lip smacking and stuff like that. But it is, for some people who have misophonia, they have like a phobia of hearing like mouth sounds and stuff like that. So that one's like one that is very person to person, dislike or like. So the paper I read was basically just understanding the triggers of ASMR and going into the specific actions that have reactions of people. So for the ASMR research, they haven't done a lot because up until fairly recently, they've been categorizing ASMR as something called fission, which is another type of response to sounds. So it's a fairly similar experience, but you have different triggers, so they're usually categorized as more like emotional things, like you're listening to a song that you just really like, or like you look at a picture or like a landscape and you just feel like a very calm or sense of catharsis, and that would be fission, but it's a similar idea of like just getting a very strong bodily reaction to something. So previous studies have focused on that kind of reaction and fission in general, but with the rise of it through YouTube and like pop culture, people have started to go more into ASMR. And the research that had been done on ASMR for this paper and a few others were mostly on the interpersonal kind of things that had to do with hosts. So they would talk about like the genres of ASMR, but not really exactly like what sound triggers a reaction and things like that. But this paper wanted to go into the actual objects that induce ASMR and the situations under which it occurs and narrow down the content of ASMR that people feel strongly about. But again, they went into it knowing that it would be very hard to narrow down because it is so personal, and they found that in the paper too. So the study was an online questionnaire. So the only requirement for people to be involved in it was that they had to claim that they do experience ASMR, and they recruited them through social media mostly, so people that were already engaged and obviously had seen ASMR videos and stuff like that. And they would ask them about previous experiences that they already had, which I'll go into later what I thought were future directions or problems of the study, but it did only draw on experiences they had already had. It didn't give them So they would ask them questions about what they felt when they watched the videos or listened to the different sounds, and they would ask them questions about the environment or other stimulation present when they were watching it or that were present in the video, noise level, where they watched it, especially there are two big examples were the Scottish countryside and then a bar, like asking if you felt strongly if it had been in a bar versus if it had been in the countryside. And then they used a Likert scale, which is just kind of the psychological, the scale that they ask when they're saying like, rate this 1 to 5, so not that complicated. So the questions they asked were along the lines of, they would ask them maybe, think of a video you thought that would trigger your reaction but didn't, or say your favorite video that didn't have a host, like a person that it was focused on, just kind of the sounds. Or talk about videos that had a person in it, or asking if you had ever experienced it in a public place or outside of like an online situation, like if you had heard it in real life and if you had had a reaction, because they wanted to see what went into it. They would also ask like if it was focused on an object specifically, or the environment of the video that they watched, like what they thought about the physical appearance of the place. Was it loud and bright colors, or was it warm or modern, clinical, intricate, welcoming, whatever. And then they would ask them to agree or disagree with like, this was clinical, this was happy, like warm colors and stuff like that. So this kind of looked like the questions they were asking, and then they would also ask about specific reactions, like the pitch, and then like just the nature of the sounds and stuff like that. So for the results that they got, they were focused on a wide range of like aspects of the videos. So one of the first things they focused on was the duration, and they would ask people what they thought was the ideal time. And a large majority were 1 to 5 minutes or under 10 minutes, which I thought was really interesting because when you look up ASMR, the first results that come up are all like well over 30 minutes. So they could use this research more in the community. And then also they were asking them about how many triggers they like to see in videos. So that would be like if you had someone's voice in the background and they were seeing something happen, like if they enjoyed that or they couldn't take in multiple stimuli at once. And they said most people said around 2 triggers were ideals. Then they asked them about the environment, like I said, and so they would say like, recall your favorite video, and then they would ask them to rank the environments / like the atmosphere that the video took place in on a 1 to 7 scale, 7 being they did not like it, and then 1 being they liked it a lot. And as you might expect, a lot of people trended towards relaxed, inviting, and happy spaces rather than very bright colors or like clinical or dangerous even. We weren't really sure what that meant. Probably more like open, maybe out of the ordinary environments, but not like in a home, in a room, something like that. And then they would also ask them to apply it to different situations. So they would ask people, have you ever experienced this in a bar setting or something where there's just a lot of people around? And then of the people that got that, they would ask them how they felt about those things, and they still found very similar answers on what they liked. They also asked them to talk about physical properties of the place that the ASMR video was taken in. And again, it was very much along the lines of they didn't like very stimulating environments, mostly just kind of relaxed and muted ones. They would also go into how the triggers were located. So they looked at 3 major types of ASMR, and they would say for origami, liquid pouring, and then towel folding, and they would talk about how much like the distance affected how intense their So as you can see with in orange, the pouring of the liquid with the error bars, like across the different different distances from the recording sites, like the microphone. It was fairly similar. They didn't really find a big difference in how intense the reactions were. But for things more detail-oriented, like paper folding, the closer they were, the more intense it was. And then as they got further and further away, the less of a reaction they had to it. And towel folding also went down the farther they were.
I have a question. How do they collect this particular type of data?
From
How are they able to collect this data from the intensity and the distances? How do they do
So they would say, if the towel is being folded this many centimeters away, would you feel that you're like you were stimulated the most, or like?
Were there visuals that went along with it?
No, so that's why it was. We're not sure how accurate this is because they need to go into doing an actual like testing, and I'll go into that in a minute. And then they would ask them about the sounds that they heard and the pitch, and so most people agreed that the pitch makes a big difference, and only 12% liked high pitches, and then 56% of people said high pitches they had an adverse reaction to, and then 56% said they liked the lower pitches and felt that that was more effective. And then almost everyone agreed that when the stimuli were coming in through both ears, they believed it was most effective. And people were mixed on if they cared whether or not the sounds were coming from things actually shown in the video, like off-camera things or things like that. And then most people agreed, 70%, that they did not like background music, things distracting from like the very crisp details. So the conclusions were that it's still very personal because a lot of the data was so split or mixed in what the reactions people gave were. But still, most effective videos were things with more muted things, like gave them more of a sense of calming, with lower pitches and not a lot of distractions, to make it more of an enjoyable experience and closer to the camera. And so the faults with this that I went into were that the data didn't seem very controlled, and since it is a newer phenomenon that people really care about, they went like very surface level and they just were asking questions through an online questionnaire. But obviously if they want to get actual data like about the physical reaction, I think that they need to go into actual lab work because it could be very biased in people's claims of what they feel they're reacting to, and a lot of people are skeptical of the actual like physical reactions if people even experience it. And so since it was all self-reported, the accuracy of the data is going to need to get better if people are going to actually use this in the future for like any kind of actual scientific things. And they should give them actual things to react to rather than just asking about their previous experiences, because they need to track like if they do actually have a physical response or not.
Maybe you already said this, but did they say how many people responded to this?
It was, I have it in the paper, but it was a couple hundred. Like,
Okay.